Ever heard the story of 300 Spartans holding off an entire empire? It's one of history's most epic tales of courage, a real-life David versus Goliath. But what really happened at that narrow mountain pass called Thermopylae? Let's dive into the true story behind the legend. It all started around 480 BC. The mighty Persian Empire, led by King Xerxes I, was on a mission to conquer Greece. This wasn't their first rodeo. About 10 years earlier, Xerxes' father Darius had tried and failed, famously defeated by the Athenians at the Battle of Marathon. Now, Xerxes was back for revenge, and he wasn't messing around. He had assembled one of the largest armies the ancient world had ever seen. Ancient historians, like Herodotus, put the numbers in the millions, but modern scholars think it was more like 1 to 300,000. Still, for the small, divided Greek city-states, this was an unimaginable force. Faced with this overwhelming threat, the Greek city-states had a choice: surrender or fight. Many chose to bow to Xerxes, but a handful, led by Athens and Sparta, decided to resist. They formed an alliance, a rare moment of unity for the fiercely independent Greeks. Their strategy was simple: use geography to their advantage. They couldn't win a battle on an open field, so they had to find a choke point to nullify the Persians' numerical superiority. The perfect spot was Thermopylae, which literally means hot gates because of nearby hot sulfur springs. It was a narrow coastal pass with steep mountains on one side and the sea on the other. In some places, it was so narrow that only a few men could fight side by side. This was where the Greeks would make their stand. Command of the ground forces fell to Sparta, the most formidable military power in Greece. And leading the Spartans was their king, Leonidas. Now, here's a common misconception. Leonidas didn't just bring 300 Spartans. The total Greek force was much larger, probably around 7,000 soldiers from various cities. So why do we always hear about the 300? Well, Leonidas was only allowed to take his personal bodyguard of 300 men. This was because the main Spartan army was obligated to stay home for a religious festival, the Carneia. It was considered a bad omen to march to war during this time. So Leonidas marched north with his elite guard, gathering allies along the way. When the massive Persian army arrived at Thermopylae, Xerxes was confident. He waited for 4 days, expecting the tiny Greek force to see his numbers and simply run away. He even sent messengers demanding they lay down their weapons. Leonidas's supposed reply has become legendary: "Molin labi," which means "come and get them." When the Greeks didn't budge, Xerxes ordered the attack. For 2 full days, the battle raged. The Persians sent wave after wave of soldiers into the pass, but they were cut down by the heavily armed and highly disciplined Greeks. The Spartan hoplites, with their long spears, heavy bronze shields, and iconic red cloaks, were a wall of death. Their phalanx formation was nearly impenetrable. Even Xerxes' elite troops, the Immortals, couldn't break the Greek line. It was a brutal, bloody stalemate. Xerxes, watching from a nearby throne, reportedly leaped to his feet 3 times in frustration and fear for his army. The Greeks were holding the pass, buying precious time for the rest of Greece to prepare for the invasion. It seemed like their strategy was working perfectly, but then betrayal changed everything. A local man named Ephialtes, hoping for a reward from the Persians, revealed a secret mountain path that went around the Greek position. This path would allow the Persians to encircle the Greeks and attack them from behind. When Leonidas learned that they were being outflanked, he knew the battle was lost. His position was now indefensible. He had a choice to make. He could order a full retreat and save his army, but that would mean abandoning the pass and opening the way for the Persians to march straight into central Greece. Instead, Leonidas made a fateful decision. He ordered the bulk of the Greek army to retreat and save themselves. He, however, would stay, along with his 300 Spartans, about 700 Thespians who volunteered to remain, and 400 Thebans who were held as potential hostages, Leonidas prepared for a final, suicidal last stand. Why did he do this? It was a mix of Spartan law, honor, and strategy. Spartan soldiers were forbidden from retreating, but more than that, their sacrifice was a powerful message. It was a signal to the rest of Greece that this was a fight to the death, a fight for freedom itself. And tactically, their last stand would delay the Persian advance just a little longer, protecting the retreating Greek forces. The final day of the battle was a scene of incredible ferocity. Surrounded on all sides, the remaining Greeks fought with a desperation and fury that stunned the Persians. Herodotus tells us they fought with their spears until they broke, then with their swords, and when their swords shattered, they fought with their bare hands and teeth. Leonidas fell in the heart of the fighting, and a fierce struggle erupted over his body, with the Greeks driving the enemy back 4 times to retrieve their fallen king. Eventually, overwhelmed by sheer numbers and a hail of arrows, the last of the defenders were killed. They fought to the very last man. After the battle, a furious Xerxes ordered Leonidas's body to be beheaded and crucified, an act considered barbaric even then. So, what did this heroic defeat actually achieve? In the short term, it was a loss. The Persians broke through, marched south, and burned Athens to the ground. But the sacrifice at Thermopylae was not in vain. It had a massive psychological impact. The story of Leonidas and his men spread like wildfire, becoming a rallying cry for Greek resistance. It showed that the mighty Persians were not invincible. They could be fought, and they could be beaten. The delay, though only a few days, was crucial. It allowed the allied Greek navy, led by the Athenians, to prepare for a decisive confrontation. A few weeks later, at the naval battle of Salamis, the Greeks lured the larger Persian fleet into a narrow strait and completely destroyed it. This was the turning point of the war. With his navy gone and supply lines cut, Xerxes had to retreat to Asia with a large part of his army. The following year, the remaining Persian forces were decisively defeated at the Battle of Plataea by a united Greek army, led once again by the Spartans. The invasion was over. The Battle of Thermopylae became a cornerstone of Western civilization's identity, a timeless symbol of courage against tyranny, of sacrificing for freedom, and of the power of a few dedicated individuals to change the course of history. A monument was later erected at the site with an inscription that reads, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie." The story of the 300 is more than just a Hollywood movie. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, even in defeat, a victory can be won, a victory of spirit, of honor, and of inspiration that echoes through millennia.